Hey, my name's Marcel, and I do a show about the life of Charlie Chaplin and tell the story of his life in the style of his films.
Fantastic high-risk crowd work. So if you like risky physical comedy in the vein of Gary Starr, this is at that level.
Yes, we're all trained at the same school, just south of Paris, in France.
If you miss it at End Fringe, it will be on tour. So now let's talk about what's generalizable. Would we agree that clown is for everybody? Should watch and learn a little bit of your techniques. Would you agree?
I think totally. It's almost a spiritual thing, because it totally can flip your perspective on the world. Like in school, in the rest of your life, you try and get things right. You try and do well at school. It's all about getting high marks and stuff. Suddenly you go to clown school or whatever, and you get the exercise right. Everyone falls asleep and you leave the stage because you're boring. It's the people who totally bugger up the exercise. They're the people who everyone loves.
One of the fascinating things is observing, and we already talked about crowd work, and we talked about the risk of somebody being too much of a ham, making it their show, and then the dead fish phenomenon. And I thought it was fascinating what you said about people that overact or ham it up too much on stage when you invite them to play a role.
Yeah, so there's two parts. One is choice. It is quite important who you choose, and so it's funny. I think you get good at judging who has a sense of humor just on sight, because you see people, and some people just look funny, and that's good. Like some people, just humor just sits very close to them, and so those are they're very tempting people to pick. However, you just have to be careful that they are aware of it, because I've had very few experiences where I've chosen someone who is potentially hilarious, then they didn't quite have a sense of humor, and so because they're self-conscious. Anyway, but so if you choose someone with a sense of humor, then I think in a big way it's the skill of the performer. Like part of the challenge of the performer, if you're going to use the crowd, is you have to be ready for whatever they give you, and you have to make it funny. Like if they give you too much, you have to work with it. If they give you not enough, you have to have either plans, ideas, or you have to be able to, in the moment, to acknowledge when you give them an instruction, nothing happens, give them it again, nothing happens, then you acknowledge, you're like, are you there? Can you hear me? Like, I don't know.
So there's a brilliant answer before when we talked about what do you do with when somebody overacts or plays their part too much or decides to make it their show. The words of a colleague here who teaches at Emerson College. So you said that actually you like those screw-ups.
I love it because it gives me stuff, and that's why it's so fun using the audience, because you get unpredictability and you get new ingredients every night. Because I know the show, blah, blah. So,
it gets boring, probably.
Potentially, but it doesn't, because the audience is totally different. So the pace is different. Everything is different every night. Yeah. And if you get an audience member who gives too much, it's brilliant, because you just let them go. And like you can provoke them a little bit. Like you have to be sensitive, but you can let them go, and then they try to be funny. Nobody laughs, and then you can say something like, comedy is harder than it looks, or something.
Or I like the line you shared before, which is, is this your show or mine?
Yeah, exactly. And then everyone gets it, because everyone's on the same page. Like if you're relaxed enough as a performer, because the audience is relaxed, because they're not in the spotlight. Yeah. So if you can be relaxed as the audience, you can see what the audience sees, because the audience sees everything. And if you can see what they see, you can comment on it, and everyone's with you.
Yeah. So, and one more thing about that I thought was really deep is that you said that a lot of people probably reflect afterwards and are like, I need to check my ego next time, or I need to be less of a ham.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, and very fitting, because a lot of the cops part in the show and you're actually quite good, but
thank you very much.
Fortunately, it's better when they're bad, because it's better when the person stands there for ages. We're swaying on stage because we're on a boat. And the police officer comes on stage and just stands there, and they think that their job is to hit me on the head, and so they're like trying to hit me on the head, and suddenly you turn a perfectly intelligent audience member into a total idiot, because they think they've got one job, but everyone sees that actually they're supposed to be swaying, and they just don't realize. And so it's if sometimes
that's
people,
interesting.
It takes ages for them to cotton on, and afterwards, after the show, they come up to me and they say, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that you wanted me to sway. And what you have to say is no, thank you, I was trying to trick you, because did you hear the audience? Everyone loved you for it. You might be humiliated, but
the fascinating thing there is that everybody should be meditating on, all it took was 2-3 times on stage being asked to hit you over the head to be conditioned to believe that's my role, that's my job, is to hit you on the head, even when I'm not asked to. That's an interesting observation on conditioning, how quickly you can train somebody.
And on stage, because you're in a high pressure and high anxiety situation with the lights. You shut down on maybe what you become tunnel vision. And you're
not present, you're not watching for signals.
Exactly.
There's nothing in your signals that said hit me over the head.
And then that's the difference between, say, an audience member and like a trained performer, is the performer, if they say get pulled out of the audience, they are there, they're maybe not not looking actively, but in the back of their eye, they're seeing everything on stage.
Yeah.
They're aware. But also you don't want to be too intelligent. Like you want to fall into traps. So
Maybe we should tag this or title it "Advice for Audience Participation at Fringe." Do it, am it up, not too much. Be ready that there are traps the performer wants you to fall into, possibly to make a deeper point or make comment.
Yeah, early audiences. It's nice if they're not too aware.
Okay, so maybe we'll cut that part out.
But
the final big reflection is everybody should try clown, especially if you're a fellow teacher or have to do anything in front of people. But I think life is ultimately about having a plan, but then being open that you're going to have to adapt. You will have to.
Yeah, I was going to say knowing how people perceive you. And when you embarrass yourself, other people don't go home thinking, what an idiot, that guy's such an idiot. Everyone's worrying about you, just always worried about yourself.
Yep.
And when other people embarrass themselves, you love them because it's endearing and they're not competing with you. It lowers the competition and you love them. And so it can flip your psychology on the world.
Marcel, thank you so much. One last big observation. Yeah, what was it? I had one.
It'll come.
Too many shows. Marcel, do you want to do something in your Chaplin voice so people can get a preview of what you sound like when you're in character?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Chaplin.
Charles
Spencer Chaplin, and I'm performing in the Fringe Festival, and you should come along and see my show. And I'm talking to some people in the US, so I might come there one day.
Perfect. Okay, so there's a little bit of a preview. The music is swelling. Any final thoughts, reflections, things you wish?
Any
you could
final
say?
thoughts?
Yeah.
Just relax and have a sense of humor, and it's all have a good time. Don't worry too much.
Yeah. And go see some shows of this vein. It'll teach you transferable skills. That's the big takeaway. You will learn, and definitely see the show if and when you can. Thank you very much.